Okay. Okay. Um, so right now, I think everybody hates Trump, right? But I think they're really missing like a long term vision, at least for America, because he's basically he's going to be scapegoated as like the sole cause of it, of all these problems, and lumped in with like the neocons and things like that. Um, so he'll be scapegoated, which is very useful. Well, because how many things are going to change as a result of that? Well, America is going to lose its fascination with getting involved in the Middle East, and it will have an opportunity to repair that damage because his crew and like the military, that guy Pete Hegseth is like retarded, and well, the entire establishment he brought in, they weren't really establishment, they were like Fox News people or something. Um, they can just blame them for it. So like, and Iran can repair their. I mean, they've never really had a good relationship with America, but they can actually repair their relationship with America on the basis of like, oh yeah, that guy Trump was a fucking idiot. So they can actually repair all that shit. Um, where does that leave Israel? Well, leaves them getting attacked on all fronts. That's where it leaves them. I'm not saying, by the way, I laugh at some of these things. I don't think it's a good thing. I hate violence. I hate anybody getting killed. I hate any of that stuff. Uh, Displacing people, destroying infrastructure. I fucking hate that shit. And it's sad that people suffer over there. But it's also like you look at it and you go, "It's just so much of it in the world. If you're very emotionally invested in everything that happens, you just be upset all the time." So, you know, if it's happening on the other side of the world, it's like there's some distance. The things that happen on the other side of the world affect us here, and you know, well, awful things have been done in the Middle East by very powerful people who are just acting like bullies. Uh, but when Trump's out of office, um, which may be at the end of his term, but it may be sooner. Maybe they'll impeach him. I don't know. A lot of people jumping on him. Uh, they could just say everything's his fault. He's an old guy. His mind's gone. He has outdated views, and he's made a lot of the ridiculousness of neocons and boomers and shit like that very obvious. I mean, before that, the progressives made themselves look really stupid, having some power and at least in the university systems and the media and that, and ended up making themselves look like fucking idiots, and then it made very easy to come at them, basically. Uh, so, but of course, the uh, they swung way over to the other side. Um, does that mean some level of stability comes out of it? Maybe. Maybe. Would that be permanent? Temporary? I mean, nothing's permanent. Buddhist here. So, like, there's still cycles to these things, and you can't predict all the variables. But just on an international, which is the funny thing with international politics is it's actually it's actually so simplistic, like it's and like straightforward, or at least it's as worthwhile to explain it that way as it is in a far more complex way. I think you can predict things more if you have a lot more like detailed information, but if you can't see patterns and long term cycles and uh, you know like old school interpretations and that have lasted a long time, if you can't see those kinds of things, then you're actually blind to any long term vision. You know, I can't be the first person to point this out, but often people don't even think outside of an election cycle. Um, they can't even remember what they used to think about stuff. Like George W. Bush is a great example of this. People like clamoring for George W. Bush. A lot of the problems that America has are a result of his terms. Like a lot of them. He went to war in two countries, like on based on like one of them seems quite clearly is quite clearly a lie, and the other one, people suss out now more and more and more, and I don't know anything about it. I don't look into conspiracy quote theories, though nowadays like every conspiracy theory seems to have some truth to it, and as stories get scrambled and people get stupider, the collective narratives will change. Um, but people they clamor now for like George W. Bush, which just seems so ridiculous to someone my age. Uh, like, did you guys forget or something? Like, and they did. Uh, so people think in terms of election cycles. The latest thing is the most important thing. They don't see any sort of long-term vision. Here in Canada, um, it's amazing how much the liberals have fucked up the country. It's actually amazing. Now, a lot of the reason our country and America as well is wealthy is because of our natural resources. It's not because of the Constitution, and it's not really because of ideas. Though we did benefit from a legal system that was worked out in England for a long time before it was adopted. by the English speaking, the Anglosphere. So we did benefit from a lot of that stuff, a lot, and speaking the language that became the world language, the language of science, language of technology. Having infrastructure early, industrializing early. So there's so many long term factors that resulted in our success, but people will sit there and think that it's the last person they voted for if things are going good, or if things are going bad, it's the last person that was elected, which is ridiculous. Like it's on its face, just ridiculous. But you can say this to someone, they'll still think Trump is like Hitler or something, and even Hitler's a product of his time, and that's obvious, right? Uh, so trying to look at a longer term vision, this is clearing out a lot of brush. It's clearing out a lot of dead wood in America that had to be cleared out. And why would that be an easy process? Now, I wish it wasn't, and I think like a lot of people, I wish I didn't have to live through that change economically. It's interesting in terms of watching it, and there's a lot of energy in the air. And to someone like me, it can be quite creatively inspiring, and it can drive up my adrenaline, help me notice things, help me notice stuff. But it's on a practical matter, people are a little bit down, a little bit sad, or angry, and seem really drained, really put upon. That's a lot to do with our economic system, which is like wage slavery, basically. And I mean, I think also alienation from nature is a huge problem in the world today. So there's stuff like that. Those are long-term trends. Alienation from natural energies, alienation from our connection with nature, alienation from each other. And there was a book about many years ago that talked about the decline of bowling leagues, which started, this was like 90s or something, and kind of foretold kind of alienation of people. The internet, of course, has made it way worse. And people just stare at their screens, and that it's frightening, I mean, because there's so many screens. Like once you get that screen out of your face, then there's all the screens that you have like internalized, all the veils that you've internalized over the course of your life. All the commitments to maps, to languages, and that. And seeing yourself through that, navigating, thinking you're done, that in and of itself is dangerous waters. So so there's so many ways of alienating oneself, and that's an aspect of connectivity, both the alienation and the acceptance of that connectivity. And to understand it conceptually is also different than integrating into one system. And older people, they get wise, and they through habit, maybe kicking and screaming at some point, but they seem more they have more space for those kinds of things. I don't actually think it's a bad thing, but does that mean that tomorrow the war is going to stop and the oil prices will drop, and all the idiots that we have to see on America? And I talk about American politics. Americans, in my view, they just don't get to say, "Stay out of our business." They just don't get to say that. I mean, they can say it. They can even think it makes sense, but people don't have the option to ignore America, and they make it virtually impossible. Beyond fighting wars everywhere, just shipping out their commercialism and materialism and their dichotomies. I'm in Canada, like this country has been held hostage by America for a long time, and it's made our political classes just stupider and stupider. Our general populace just stupider and stupider. Our best talent leaves and goes to America. So, it's been, but the benefit, we're next to a country which doesn't invade us. It's sad that Trump decided to play with that fact. And there's always consequences for that. Wink. But that's a hugely beneficial thing. Is to have to border a country that's the most powerful country in the world and doesn't invade you. That's something that Mexico should appreciate as well. At least in world historical terms. Of course, they've influenced us in ways that are indirect and perhaps worse because they don't even know they're doing it. But that those are things that Canada has benefited from. Um, People would complain about other countries interfering in American elections, and I just found this hilarious. Like, I mean, come on, like, they could, they should, and of course they did, and they will again. If America wanted to shut itself off from the rest of the world, the whole world would go, "Oh, please, thank you." Oh, it's great. Can we breathe now? um, and maybe America will end up being a scapegoat. Suck living in Canada if that's the case. And I don't even mean in terms of war, just backlash. And one of the issues, of course, with backlash or reaction is that you tend to adopt the frames of the people that you're lashing back at. At the very least, you're cued emotionally, and yeah, and you can get trapped in their frames. Maybe you can see underlying assumptions in that frame, but if that's the case, it's not going to be a backlash. It's going to be an explanation, a discussion, an unfolding, an unraveling. And most people are not doing that. They're not even capable of doing that. And if they could do that, they'd probably be too blunt about it. Wouldn't know how to do it subtly. People who know how to do it subtly, man, they can be very sneaky. Um, you know, and I've pointed some of them out because I recognize that shit. I keep my footprint small. You know, I don't get involved in a lot of things. It's not that I don't have the capacity, though. I am too intelligent to be popular. Just way too intelligent. Way too. I mean, I'm gonna say this because you have to say it. If you're 41 and wise, you have to say you're wise, and that people can't handle it. People older can't handle it, and people younger just tend to resent people who are older. Did you see the trick in that? So yeah, so I'm a wise guy, and don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me.